Hello, I'm Reema Chandra and welcome to Cooking Without Boundaries. Cooking without boundaries to me means breaking out of many boundaries, whether it's cuisine, culture, or simple ones like recipes, ingredients, and skills. Creating conversations, sharing and nurturing my passion, and hoping to inspire you is what Cooking Without Boundaries means to me. So yesterday I was at the supermarket and my daughter had asked me to pick up her favorite things. One of the things that tops her list are tomatoes. Different kind of tomatoes. Doesn't matter whether it is cherry or vine ripened or plum. Doesn't matter. She loves tomatoes. So as I was picking up tomatoes, I had a brilliant idea. I said, why don't we cook with tomatoes today? So that's what we are going to do today. Welcome to Cooking Without Boundaries, and let's get started with cooking. So did you know that 1 cup of raw tomatoes can give you more than 30% of vitamin C, more than 30% of vitamin A, folate, vitamin B6, potassium, and a little bit of protein also, and so many other nutrients, full of antioxidants. In fact, botanically speaking, tomatoes are fruits. They are not vegetables, although they are used largely as vegetables. And even amongst fruits, it's actually a berry because it comes from single ovary and develops into one single fruit. So it's rich in antioxidants and a little bit, there is subtle sweetness to it, but not very sweet. There is sourness to it, and so it is largely used in cooking as vegetables. So 1,000 different kinds of tomatoes are there in the world. Most commonly we see cherry tomatoes, plum tomatoes, heirloom tomatoes, beefsteak tomatoes, Roma tomatoes, vine ripened tomatoes, all of those various things. We just I cut up some tomatoes now to make our dishes for today. Talking about tomatoes, they were not very popular many hundreds of years ago. They actually, even though they are largely used in Italian cooking, they are natives of Western South American countries like Chile or Peru, but over the centuries it has grown into its popularity and it is used widely, and today there is roughly about 130 million tons of tomatoes being used every day all over the world. So you can see how much tomatoes are used in our everyday life. I have not heard of anybody yet that they don't like tomatoes or that they don't have tomatoes in their fridge or refrigerator or pantry or fruit basket or vegetable basket. So that's what made me decide to make tomato as our theme for today. So we are going to make today 3, possibly 4 dishes. Start with tomato and chicken stew because that takes the longest, and longest meaning it will take longer than other dishes. We'll go on to making tomato rice with spinach. Then we will make garlic flavored baked tomatoes and finish it off with tomato chutney. First dish that we are going to make is tomato chicken stew. Stew is generally, you will have vegetables in it and some chunky vegetables, some starchy vegetables, and that actually gives it the sauce base. So what we are going to do, add lots of chunky starchy vegetables to my stew today. I have chunks of red potatoes, red beets, what do I have, sweet potatoes, and then butternut squash. So I cut them up and I'm going to saute them a little bit before adding those to the chicken. So let's switch our pan, saute vegetables in a wide mouth pan, and then come back to the stew pan. So this pan, while this is getting warm, I'll tell you why I decided on tomato chicken stew today. I have said it before also that plan your meal or your cooking based on what you have and who is in your family, what they like, what you feel like cooking. Today I'm going to have some visitor students coming from Botswana, and they love stew. So I thought tomatoes and stew, good combination for my theme ingredient and for my guests. So that's how tomato and chicken stew came about. Looks like the pan is warm enough, so we will start with 3 tablespoons of cooking oil. Coat the pan with oil. Flame should be medium to high. This is a lot of vegetables. We are not going to use it all, but I just wanted to show you that I have so much. If you want to make a bigger quantity, just go ahead and use it all. I will be adding roughly 3 cups of chunky vegetables here. I think we're all set. Stir it. Ooh. The vegetables are getting sauteed. I'm going to move it to the other stove and bring my stew pan back here and get started with other ingredients in the stew. So let's transfer. So the stew pot is quite hot. We will start with 2 tablespoons of oil, cooking oil. Coat the pan by swirling oil all around here. I pounded 6 cloves of garlic. Stir it. A minute, not even a minute, 30 seconds later, we add chunky pieces of onions and 2 bay leaves and 2 dry red chilies. So 2 dry red chilies are here. Add them. 2 bay leaves, and let's add 2 cups of chunky onion here. Stew is basically big chunks of chicken or meat, any meat you want. Chunks of vegetables cooked together in water and tomato based sauce, and they just sit on flame until meat pieces start falling apart, and that's when you know that your stew is ready. We add, this is about this is quarter cup ginger paste, and this is a large quantity for stew, so we are going beyond just a spoon or 2 of ingredients. We are going into cups now because we are cooking a large quantity here. While the onion, garlic, ginger, everything sautés together and the vegetable cooks together, we are going to let it sit for a minute or 2, perhaps 2, the onions. Vegetable is going to take about 5 minutes to get cooked a little, and then we are going to put all of it together in one pan. So let's come back in a minute. Things are cooking. Onion looks pink and translucent. So let's add our next ingredient. I cracked some black pepper, 1 teaspoon of black pepper. So you just crack it. You don't make it very fine because that's the idea with stew. Most things are either whole or big chunks. We add tomatoes here. All the tomatoes that we cut, we are going to add them. The big chunks of tomatoes. Again, I mixed 1 big steak and 3 vine-ripened tomatoes here. So you can mix, match, do anything you want. Tomatoes are tomatoes. And now add chicken pieces. So here I have about 3 pounds of chicken. It's a mix of drumsticks and boneless breast pieces. Bony pieces give a very good, very nice flavor to stew, so you must have some bony pieces. Drumsticks go very well with kids, so that's why I have added drumsticks. The vegetables are stewing here. Chicken is in. 1 teaspoon of honey. Again, honey is not to make it, not to sweeten it, but actually to balance the different flavors that we have added here. 1.5 teaspoon of salt. Stir it. And now the chunky starchy vegetables that have been sauteing in this wide mouth pan here for about 5 minutes, let's add those in here and let them all cook together. They look so good together. Stir them well. There's so much of tomatoes that they'll release water. The onions will release water, and then chicken will release water. So we won't add water at this point. We'll just cover the pot with its lid. Let it simmer on low to medium flame for 15 minutes. That'll give enough time for chicken to get cooked because it's been 5 minutes already. And we will at that point see if there is more water needed. We will add some water. Tomato rice with spinach. For that, I chopped up a bag of fresh spinach and I cooked it in microwave without any additional water for about 3.5 minutes. And this is what it came to be. You can also use a small bag of frozen chopped spinach and nuke it in microwave for 3 to 4 minutes. To start the rice dish, we need oil, don't we? So 2 tablespoons of cooking oil. Coat the pan. Oil is cracking. Add chopped 2 cloves of garlic and 1 bay leaf. Again, stir it. We are going to add about 2 cups of sliced onion. It's not a whole lot of onions because it's sliced and it takes up a space in the cup. Because we are using 3 cups of cooked rice. So 2 cups of chopped sliced onion would be great. Not chopped but sliced. And the steam makes me frown, but things look very good here. We add 1 teaspoon of ginger paste. Stir it together. This is cooked white rice. Oftentimes I would use brown rice as well. Today I was in mood for white rice. So I cooked some white rice, 1 cup of rice, 2 cups of water, simmer it on stove with a covered lid for about 10 to 12 minutes until the rice is cooked. And this is what it should look like. We are going to add that in the end, but right now it's time to add cracked pepper. Again, half a teaspoon of black pepper I freshly pounded here. Smells really good. I have a habit of bringing in leaves in my meal somehow. So today the stew doesn't have any leaf. The baked tomatoes will not have any leaf. So this is where I'm bringing in some green leaves, which is spinach, in the rice. So you get all of your nutrition that way. While onion is getting sauteed, we have chopped up tomatoes and we're going to add this. Let's do this. Onions look ready. 2 cups of chopped tomatoes go in. Here also, tomatoes and onion, they're both going to release water, so keep the flame to high so that they dry up quickly. You don't want it getting too saucy here. Salt at this point, about 1 1/4 teaspoon. Smells wonderful. And after about 2 minutes, we'll add spinach, saute for another 2 minutes, add rice, mix it together, and then add fresh mint leaves. Put the lid on and let it sit on low flame for about 10 minutes, and all of the flavors will mingle with each other under the covered lid, and the rice would be ready. On to our next dish. It is garlic flavored baked tomatoes. We are sticking with theme of the day, tomatoes. So I took 4 tomatoes, and what you should do is slice them, actually cut them into halves, and arrange them in the pan here. If you have a smaller tomatoes, that's even better. I have this size and I'm going to stick with it. Not going to run to grocery store right now. That's the idea. You stick with what you have. So let's do, how many pieces I have? I have 8 pieces here. Let's do that much. We're going to make dressing to drizzle over cut up tomatoes. Two tablespoons of chopped parsley, half lemon squeezed freshly. Smells so refreshing. 4 cloves of garlic. So I'm going to chop it up and then add it to dressing. What you should do is either chop it up or grate it or grind it. Either way, they should be fine pieces and not chunky pieces. 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 3 teaspoons of olive oil. Mix it well here. Looks and smells very good. The fresh garlic, fresh parsley, fresh lemon, everything fresh. Why would it not smell good? And so easy. We are going to drizzle 1 spoon on each tomato piece. There we go. I have heated the oven to 475. I want to do as not the highest temperature, but close to highest, and make a quick baking of it. Do a quick baking of tomatoes, because I don't want it to sit in oven for too long. It'll release water, it'll get mushy and gooey, so I don't want that. I want a quick flash baking of tomatoes, and this is what they look like. We put it in oven on the lowest rack right now. After 7 minutes or so, we will move it to the higher rack under broiler, broil it for a minute, and then ready to serve. Remember, I said that we will do a 4th dish today if we have time, and we were pretty quick with our other tomato dominated dish. So now we are on to making tomato chutney with red pepper, and for that I am lightly roasting a red pepper and 1 tomato right directly on flame. If you can do it on grill, that's very good. Right now I can go to my grill. It's outside, so I'm just doing it on my kitchen stove. After I do that, I'll peel away as much of skin as possible, put it in a blender with other ingredients, and then we'll blend it together as a chutney. We roasted 1 tomato and 1 red pepper. We cut up 1 serrano pepper, and if you have a jalapeno, that's fine too, just to add a little bit of heat. I will lightly take the seeds out of the red pepper, chop it up before we put it in blender, and it's all very tender and juicy right now. Try to take as much skin out of it as possible, because otherwise this will show up in your chutney, the charred skin. You don't want it looking like that, so just take the charred skin off. This could also go in your pasta dish if you want. Tomato skin actually peeled just by itself. I didn't even have to do anything. When you're roasting something, things get a little messy here, so I hope you don't mind. It's use of my hands and the board and the charred tomatoes, etc. 1 clove of garlic, 20 almonds, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, half a teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of honey. Everything good and tasty is going in it, so you will see how tasty this chutney is. And 1 tablespoon of lemon juice in it. Put it all together here in the blender. Little noisy. Looks beautiful. This is what the chutney looks like. See, we did not add any water here. All of it from tomatoes and pepper. That's it. chutney is ready. We're actually done with cooking. Let's check our tomatoes actually. Oh, that looks beautiful. I'm going to put it under the broiler for a minute and then take it out to serve. How beautiful these dishes look. It's wonderful to see that we took a simple ingredient like tomato and turned it into 4 different dishes. We made tomato and chicken stew, we made tomato rice with spinach, we made garlic flavored baked tomatoes, and we made tomatoes and red pepper chutney. It was easy, quick, healthy, and we came out of our boundaries. Fresh ingredients, amazing flavors, and all of it melting in my mouth. That's what I call cooking without boundaries. Happy cooking! Do not forget to write me at reema@sharontv.com.